This isn't the kind of love story you expect, but it's the kind that stays with you long after the lights go out. This isn't a love story between a boy and a girl, it's between a boy and his father. When the boy was 6 years old, his father was his biggest hero. They played together, talked endlessly, and shared moments filled with laughter. To him, his father wasn't just a parent, he was his whole world. Every evening, he'd wait for the sun to set, because that's when his father would return home, and everything felt complete again. That bond they shared was unconditional, pure, and full of joy. But as the boy grew up, things began to change. His father became stricter, and to the boy, it felt like the love had slowly faded. He began spending less time with him. The man who once seemed like a superhero started to feel like just another adult, ordinary, distant. What the boy didn't see was how much his father still loved him, how hard he worked to give his son the life he deserved, how he silently carried every burden without ever sharing his pain or emotions, just to make sure his child smiled freely. The boy, once overjoyed by the smallest gifts, toys, snacks, evening walks, began noticing only the things his father couldn't afford to give. He saw what was missing, not what was given. Time passed. The boy grew into a man. He got married, started a family, and began fulfilling his responsibilities. He became a good father, trying to give his son all the love he thought was missing in his own childhood. But life has a way of repeating its patterns. As responsibilities grew, he started working extra hours, and slowly, unknowingly, he began spending less time with his own son. He became stricter, just like his father once had. He thought he was doing the right thing, until one day, his son, now grown up, looked at him and said the same words he had once said to his own father. "You don't love me like you used to, and it feels like I'm not important anymore." That moment broke him. He realized the weight his father had carried, the sacrifices he had made without ever asking for thanks or recognition. Every extra shift, every skipped desire, every moment of silence was never about distance. It was about love. Love that worked quietly in the background just to make life easier for his son. He felt, for the first time, the depth of his father's strength and the loneliness of loving without being understood. He finally understood the pain, the emotion, the silent sacrifices, but it was too late. His father was gone. He never got the chance to say what he truly felt. But deep in his heart, he wished for just one more moment. To sit beside his father, to rest his head on his shoulder, and to speak the words he never could when it mattered most. There was one message he wished he could send across time and silence. "You were the father I never truly understood, but the one I'll always long for, in this life and every one after."